The Mummy is the first installment in a series scheduled to be produced as part of Universal's Dark Universe. They are planning to reintroduce all the classic monsters from the classic Universal monster films of the 1930s into the modern era. Next up is The Bride of Frankenstein, with Javier Bardem slated to play Frankenstein's monster. An Egyptian princess tries to become a pharaoh by murdering her kin. She curses herself, and before she can reap the rewards, gets interrupted and mummified. Centuries later, she is discovered by Chris and Jenny, who release her and her cursed soul among the world. Not insanely unique or groundbreaking, but a potentially exciting premise. It's what the movie does with this idea that doesn't hit home. I'm not criticizing it for being cliched or anything, because the story hits some oddly interesting and intriguing beats. The issue is that it doesn't spend its time exploring those awesome elements, and instead focuses on way too much. The characters are interesting enough. Chris is a reckless treasure hunter, and Jenny is a Lara Croft type character, who is relegated to being a damsel a lot of the time. She starts off as a tough badass who is genuinely enjoyable to watch, but is defanged by the writing. I think this may be due to some badly scripted action set pieces and possibly egocentric writing. Sometimes the female characters are portrayed as badass individuals, sometimes it seems like a teenager decided what the story and camera should focus on. A huge standout is Dr. Jekyll. Very well played, and the movie gives us such a small glimpse of the potential this monumentally cool character and the visual effects could showcase. This is probably because the character will get their own film. Still, the way he is portrayed visually through the pacing and action of this film doesn't make me hopeful for future Dr. Jekyll films. The sense of adventure is epic and a joy to watch when the film is focused. I'm a huge fan of action, so I'm a little biased. For whatever reason, action in a lot of big budget blockbusters are an afterthought, and some are straight up directed by another unit altogether. And sometimes a single action scene is the only good thing in a movie. Some of the action set pieces in this movie are incredibly well executed, and some are so badly executed that they tarnish an otherwise good movie. It's a weird criticism. Where the scenes are big and would be a logistical nightmare, are where the action adventure scenes flourish. It's where the scenes are simpler and smaller scale that the movie goes to shit. I don't normally harp on bad action in a blockbuster film, but it stands out here. The movie's horrific and adventure-driven moments of the film are so well presented. This is such a shame because the great ideas in the film are completely undercut by the film trying way too hard to be comedic. There was one great joke in the third act that was delivered with so much levity that I had to say out loud, that was actually funny. The film oscillates between being insanely eerie and engaging to being annoying in its attempt to be funny. This is sad because the actors do play the comedy well. It still doesn't work though. If the movie had more focus in its tone, it would have been great. The Mummy pays a few beautiful nods to the 1999 Mummy film. Some great moments that pay homage while still being visually and aesthetically unique. Ultimately, The Mummy just reminds you how fun and awesome the previous installment was. The 1999 film gives you a complete story, admittedly with a lot of tied cliches and borderline sexual assault, but the film follows its characters through a journey, from the jailhouse, to the boat, to the desert, to the tomb, back to Egypt, to the air, to Hamunaptra. You are there every step of the way. It's pretty exhilarating to watch for the first time. This is what this film is missing, that I'm fairly sure audiences wanted to experience again. We wanted to see a journey. I feel like this movie has a lot of really beautifully made sequences where the connective tissue between them is paper thin. For people who haven't watched the Mummy story, they will enjoy themselves, and this movie is definitely an enjoyable movie. But for most moviegoers, it's a reminder how much fun the originals were. I would say if you can get a matinee price, go see it. Otherwise, wait till it comes out on DVD or Netflix or whatever the hell you watch it on.